fairly lengthy break since the opening round at Sebring, but here we are at round 2 of the Barber Pro Series for 2002. Welcome to Lime Rock here in Connecticut. I'm Lee Diffie, joined by Jeremy Shaw. A decent crowd on hand to see these young guys battle it out. We've got several onboard cameras for you. This is from the Sebring winner, AJ Armendinger, as we check out the specs for the category. This control category, Reynard chassis, 3.5 V6 Dodge engine, and the same rules apply. A 40-minute race, and we have got 10 magnificent races this season. We've already seen Sebring, Lime Rock on this tight, twisty, fast circuit. Should be very exciting. Jeremy Shaw, welcome to you. Talk us around some of the characteristics of this great track.
A lot of elevation change here, only 1.5 miles around, but an average speed of over 100 miles an hour. Big Bend, the best overtaking place on this racetrack. For the second consecutive race, AJ Allmendinger is on the pole. Earlier, he spoke with our Rick Radajak.
Dodge Reynard's been handling great. Michelin does a great job bringing such a good tire here. Car's just been good since we got off the truck and first laps on the track. It's just been about me working my pace. And fortunately for myself, I put in a good lap to jump on the pole early in the session because fifth gear broke right after I came out of the pits and to make a change. So time held, and boy, the last 3 minutes were tough though, sitting in the pits waiting for everybody to take the time down.
You got a veteran in Mark Brewer starting next to you, a guy that has 1 million miles here at Lime Rock. What's your plan for the start of the race?
Mark's a great driver. I gotta make sure I set the pace and not let him do it, and get the jump off the start, because going into turn 1, if we're side by side, he might actually be able to have the better braking zone to get around me. So hopefully I can get the jump and be clean going into turn 1, because I feel my car's handling good right now, and if I can lead in turn 1, if I don't make a mistake, I think I can hold him off, because my car is perfect in West Bend and down the hill, and that's where it really needs to be critical. So if I can do that, I'll be good.
100% qualifying record for AJ Armendinger as he faces Mark Brewers alongside him on the opening row. Rafa Sperafico starts from 3 and Davey Cook position 4.
Milton Rossoni and Julio Campos on row 3. Behind them, Leo Meyer and Memo Rojas.
DeLeo and Bulliu. We go back to the next row. Lopez Jr. and Christian Shimshak with some work to do.
Another Mexican, that's Piero Rodati. In the next row, Carlos Liviano and Josh Rem.
Baroga, Tom Fogarty is surprising back in 18, Vanini, and the newcomer, Atticus Missner.
Rounding out the grid, Mike Richardson and Morgan Davies.
22 competitors line up here at Lime Rock. Showing you some of our onboards. This will be one of the front runners, Davey Cook. You may notice a new colour scheme, and we saw plenty of this guy at the opening round at Sebring. Mark Brewers, he enjoys a clear track ahead. This is the view from our pole sitter, facing backwards. But these guys are looking forwards and focusing on starter Doug Hill. He waves the green. We're underway for round 2 of the Barber Pro Series here at Lime Rock in Connecticut. They spread, and it's AJ Armendinger who takes the first turn in front.
Exactly what he wanted to do. A nice clean start from the inside of the front row. AJ Allmendinger, he has the advantage. Under pressure though, this is Mark Brewers.
This is what it looks like, chasing the race leader, the pole sitter. We ride with Brewers, who had that tremendous run at Sebring, coming from 23rd on the grid. At the end, battled for 8th, finished 9th. Now he can do it a little easier at the right end of the field.
Here they are through the uphill turn into the chicane for the first time. The field streaming through. There is Nilton Rossoni under pressure once again from fellow Brazilian Julio Campos.
Gee, we haven't seen that before, have we?
That's right.
Those two Sebring all over again.
Battled away at Sebring. They're doing exactly the same here in Connecticut this afternoon.
Rafael Sperafico, it's nice to see him up towards the front. He's currently running in 3rd. There is Tom Fogarty and John Vanini battling it out further back in the field. Here's Davey Cook, that new colour scheme I was talking about. The motorsport.com entry. Behind them, it's Nilton Rossoni, the Michelin car of Julio Campos. And then it looked like Josh Bulliu. There is Leonardo Meyer a little further back with some work to do.
Back up towards the front, you can see Allmendinger has pulled out a little bit of a gap over Brewers. Brewers are under pressure from Rafael Sperafico.
Settling down now. They've spread a little margin between them. Nilton Rossoni has left Campos behind. Meanwhile, up front, as we ride with Memo Rojas.
Into the chicane, the top of the hill there. Look at that. Look who is it? Not sure who is it in front of Rojas. Just puts a wheel onto the dirt. The very fast right-hander, West Bend, now plunging downhill up into 5th gear.
Of course, Memo had those troubles at Sebring that sent him sliding back down the order. which was fairly frustrating for him. Look at the pressure here. Dan DeLeo, this is more like the Dan DeLeo that we know and what we expect from him as he puts the pressure.
And Rojas keeps that door closed going into Big Bend, maintains that position.
Leonardo Meyer waiting to pounce and almost did there on Dan DeLeo. And right in behind him, 34, Christian Shimshak. The Californian's hot to go after his top 5 finish at Sebring. We're off to a good start here at Lime Rock. More after this. The field settled down here in Connecticut at Lime Rock Park. The beautiful surrounds. And this guy is doing some serious chasing and defending. Mimo Rojas is thick in the action.
Right behind him there, Dan DeLeo through that downhill diving turn there and onto the main straightaway. This is the fastest part of the track. The cars reach over 135 miles an hour up into top gear. This is Mimo Rojas hard on the brakes there.
Whoa, someone running wide there. Josh Beaulieu, it looked like locking it up and running a little wide. Meanwhile, we go back up front. 29 is your race leader, pole sitter. He likes the number 1, this guy. That's where he started and finished at Sebring. AJ Allmendinger, and he leads this field. Mark Brewers in second. Rafael Sperafico third after a troublesome run at Sebring. This is more what we can expect from the young Brazilian. Last year's Pro Series Rookie of the Year.
Slight slip there from Allmendinger. Allowed Brewers to get a little bit closer, but Allmendinger smoothly through west turn there, down the diving turn here onto the main straight. He's able to maintain his momentum, and that is what this corner is all about. You've got to maintain that momentum through that very fast diving turn and keep your speed going down towards turn 1. Big Bend.
Whoa, someone off into the dust, gathers it all back up again and able to keep going. Josh Rem, it is. A little bit of smoke coming from the rear as well.
Yes, he is. He's having to work hard, isn't he? Put 2 wheels way off the track there, and that's well over 100 miles an hour. That's pretty dodgy. You get some dirt onto these Michelin tires, that car is going to be sliding around quite a lot. So Josh Rem, from a local driver here from Plymouth, Massachusetts, doing a good job to maintain control and not lose too much ground at all.
Didn't see Josh at the Sebring round, but here he is back on track, and he tucks in behind Carlos Liviano. Here's the replay. Watch to the right of your screen. The orange and white car just pushing a little too hard.
Yes, I think so. It's still relatively early in this race, but no doubt the tyres are certainly up to temperature, and he just pushed a little bit too hard going into that corner. Got it wide on the outside, loses 1 position.
Thick in the action here, Mark Richardson there. And Herman Quiroga also pushing hard. There's plenty of private battles. Aurelio Lopez Jr. in the middle of that one as well. Christian Shimshak now putting the pressure on. He's further back than what we expected today, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's moving up well, though, and here we are now. This is a replay at the... Wow, look at that. It was who the spinner there is...
Josh Beaulieu.
Josh Beaulieu, the Canadian driver. Once again, a good start. He made up several positions on the first lap. He throws it away there with a spin. Just too late on the brakes there at the uphill turn.
And a very, very smooth start to this race from AJ Allmendinger. We saw him pretty wild and woolly at Sebring when he was chasing and battling with Davey Cook, but he's dominating this race. He is doing what he wants to do. The 2000 champ in the Barber Pro Series, Nilton Rossoni there, running further back. Someone got all crossed up. That was Rafa Sperafico, then gathered it all up. Davey Cook pounces.
It's very close between those two. Farther back down the order, here's Mimo Rojas, really under pressure from Dan DeLeo. The blue and white car, that is Rojas. The red and white car, that is Dan DeLeo. Rojas from Mexico, Dan DeLeo from Canada.
Dan's probably got one of the most interesting sponsors in this field, Dr. Ho's Muscle Massage. Want to comment on that, Jeremy?
Right, no, sounds like rather a nice idea, actually.
And Meyer, Leonardo Meyer, tucked in behind. He's been waiting for his opportunity, but these guys have been hard at it right from the get-go.
And I think a bit of a slip there, I think, from Rojas. I wonder now whether Dan DeLeo is going to get a run down the front straight. Meanwhile, here's that battle ahead of them.
The Sunoco entry of Mark Brewer started second, maintained second. Look at this. Rossoni feels he's got a chance here on Davy Cook.
That time it was Cook that put two wheels on the dirt coming out of Big Bend, but Rossoni not close enough to pounce. Here they are on no name straight away.
Last year, Davy Cook didn't feature in the top 10, not even in the top 15 here at the Lime Rock race. Wants to do that this year. Aurelio Lopez Jr. tries on Richardson, can't quite do it. And Morgan Davies in the LG car a little further back.
He's done a good job. He started last. He's already moved up a couple of places. So Morgan Davies having a good run this afternoon.
Quiroga's back on track as we ride with Mark Brewers. While there's plenty of individual battles going on around the circuit, nothing's changed up front. It's still Armendinger, Brewers and Sperafico. More after this. Welcome back to Lime Rock Park. The 1.5 mile track has been all AJ Armendinger's at the moment. He still leads up front while this fascinating battle continues. These three guys hard at it. Mimo Rojas makes a mistake and Dan DeLeo is ready to pounce.
And right behind him as well is Leonardo Meyer. So this great three-car battle going on here. This is for 7th, 8th and 9th.
Has not changed. DeLeo has been unable to get past Mimo Rojas. We've been joining Mimo on and off as Meyer goes across the dirt and grass. Doesn't lose any position. Rodarte is right behind him. Rojas' teammate. Been joining Mimo with the onboard camera shots.
And a slip there. I think he hit the inside curb there, did Rojas. And now DeLeo once again has a run. And farther back there is Shimjak with a run on Rodarte.
And gets him. The number 34 machine. Meanwhile, Dan DeLeo on the inside of Mimo Rojas. Thank you very much. You ride with Rojas and he loses that position.
And that's as a result of just clipping the inside curb there at the diving turn for Mimo Rojas, enabled Dan DeLeo to get a run on him. A perfectly executed inside pass by the Canadian Dan DeLeo.
And watch Christian Shimshak, the Californian, further back in number 34. Incidentally, number 34, that's one of his heroes, Kevin Schwantz, the 93 500cc World Motorcycle Champion. He idolizes Schwantz and running with the same number as Kevin.
So up into 7th place now is DeLeo. Behind him is Rojas, then Meyer, and then Shimjak.
Josh Rem, the car is still smoking, but Jeremy, it doesn't seem to be affecting him.
He doesn't. He's still running a very good pace there in this main pack of cars here, and it's good to see Josh Rem back in this series. He made his debut here a few years ago, but was never able to get the full finance ready to run the season. He's got that now, and he's looking to make the most of it. He didn't run the first race at Sebring, but here he is now. He hopes to run the whole rest of the championship.
The Quaker State car of Leonardo Meyer moves up one position. Again, we see it via the view from Mimo Rojas. So Mimo has dropped back 2 positions. He now falls into the clutches of Christian Shimshak, who is pushing hard.
I think that's the only way Christian knows how to drive. He's a real charger, and it's great to see there's so much enthusiasm from this guy, and he's certainly putting the pedal to the metal this afternoon.
These are the guys a little further down the order up front. It's still Armendinger and Brewers 1 and 2 from Sperafico.
Boy, there's a lot of smoke from Rem's car, but that V6 engine is holding on. It doesn't seem to be a problem. It's right with this train of cars. Here's Shimjak now, trying to get a run, this time on Mimo Rojas.
And off the circuit goes Herman Quiroga. We saw that at Sebring, and Herman's been able to gather it all back up again. Doesn't seem to be any damage on the car. and no damage done to he nor anyone. Here's the replay. Talk us through, Jeremy.
Coming into the uphill turn there, into the chicane there, and he just gets in a little bit too hot, has to jump on the brakes. As soon as he gets the power back on, realizes he's carrying a bit too much speed, tries to get it slowed down. Whoa, just before he hits the barrier. He was running in 17th, and here he is once again, another angle of that. He stops it just short of the barrier. He is able to rejoin at the back of the 22-car field.
Stops it just short of a damage bill as well. Here's our race leader, AJ Armendinger, being pursued by Mark Brewers, the real hard charger from Sebring. Then we go back to Sperafico and Davey Cook. And Jeremy, we should talk about Davey. I made mention that things didn't go to plan last year here. That was in the initial race meeting here, but he did very well in the second time round at Lime Rock.
That's right, they had 2 races here, and he was on the pole for the second race at Lime Rock, his first pole in the Barber Pro Series. And in the first race at Lime Rock last year, actually crashed the car, had to switch across to a backup to start the second race from the pole. Took him a little while to get used to it. He fell back to 4th place, but he's still running well. So is this man, Memo Rojas. He's running now in 8th position.
We talk about last year here at Lime Rock, and those 2 events were dominated by Ryan Hunter-Ray and Sepp Costa, who incidentally have now made the step up to the Toyota Atlantic Championship, and that's what this is all about. This is the entry level in the kart, official kart ladder system. The Barber Pro Series, Toyota Atlantics, and then up to the FedEx Championship Series in the Champ Cars. And that's where these guys want to go.
And here's Shimjak, he's got another run on Rojas. So Shimjak making good straight line speed. Rojas protecting the inside line. So what does Shimjak do? He goes around the outside. What a great move by Shimjak.
Nice work from the Californian, and Rojas has lost 3 positions in a matter of laps.
I'm just looking at the rear wings on these cars, and I'm wondering whether Shimjak has a little bit less rear wing than Rojas, a little less angle, gives him a bit better straight line speed. That's why he was able to make that pass down into Big Bend.
Plenty of movement from the 34 machine up front. It stays the same. It is Armendinger's race. Thanks for joining us here on Speed. This is round 2 of the 2002 Barber Pro Series. You're looking at your race leader, the man who started from pole, AJ Armendinger, who leads Brewers, Sperafico, etc. We go back inside the top 5, and that's Nilton Rossoni, who is chasing hard but can't quite catch Davey Cook at the moment. Spacing in amongst those top 5, Jeremy. No positions have changed in a long, long time.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go, though, in this race. You can see there about 7 or 8 car lengths between each of the first few cars. Armendinger seemed earlier on as if he was pulling out a little bit of a lead, but no longer. He's, you can see the gap back to Mark Brewers, and Armendinger certainly got a good run through the chicane that time. Here we are through West Bend, just a lift of the throttle.
He is really showing them the way around this Lime Rock circuit at the moment, and Brewers is starting to come under increasing pressure from Rafael Sperafico. A pretty frustrating time for Rafa. Started 12th, finished 22nd at Sebring, the season opener, but look at this. He's all over Mark Brewers now. Down into the opening turn. Can't quite do it that time.
Brewers protecting that inside line. He's making sure that if Sperafico is going to make a pass, he's going to make it the hard way, around the outside. But Brewers late enough on the brakes. No room past there for Rafael Sperafico. But look now, Davey Cook in 4th place has closed right up onto the tail of Rafael Sperafico.
Nice work from these guys. You can see the gap. Let's ride with Davey Cook now. Let's take a listen.
You can see how hard these guys are driving. You saw Sperafico just straight a wheel off the track. Look at that, that's a great shot there, down through the diving turn. This is the fastest part of the straight. We're on board with Davey Cook. You You can see him just drawing up a little bit closer to Sperafico, now heavy on the brakes. This is Big Bend. Mark Brewers leads that 3-car battle with Rossoni doing his best to make it 4 cars. There is Brewers. That is Sperafico. Here we are now with the 5th place car of Nilton Rossoni chasing Davy Cook.
What a turnaround in rounds for Mark Brewers. At Sebring, he had to do it so hard from the back of the field. He's been at the front of the field all race long, starting on that front row alongside AJ Allmendinger, as we've lost Christian Shimshak. He's gone off the circuit. No damage done to the car by the looks of things, and nobody around.
And that is down at Big Bend, where we saw him make that outside move a few laps ago. So he was in 9th place, but no longer for Christian Shimshak.
Here's the replay.
Well, he lost it under braking there. He wasn't when he was back on the throttle. He just lost control of the car as he was hard on the brakes for that decreasing radius right-hand turn down at Big Bend.
And that's a real shame for Christian, because he'd done so much good work to climb his way up through the positions. Top 5 unchanged. But plenty of pressure there for several of these guys as the laps tick on in this 40-minute race here at Lime Rock Park in northwestern Connecticut. Here's Josh Rem, currently running in 13th. We've seen him have a few anxious moments, and that car continues to smoke, but it's not affecting him.
Certainly not. He's having a good run this afternoon. He's just trying to get back into the racing rhythm after way too long out of the cockpit.
John Vanini, Tommy Fogarty, a couple of experienced guys in the Pro Series. And this battle's been going on for some time.
And they're on No Name Straight, which has a name and isn't straight either. But here into the uphill turn, that's certainly the right name for this course. And there we are through the chicane one more time.
Tom Fogarty, the elder brother of John Fogarty, who is currently campaigning the Toyota Atlantics Championship and doing very, very well. And speaking of those ladder category drivers, we should talk about the former Indy Lights driver Townsend Bell, who is now, of course, running for Patrick Racing in the FedEx Championship Series. When he was running in this category, Townsend won here at Lime Rock back in 1999. So for these guys in this category, Jeremy, it's very important to see those big name guys now, especially for guys like AJ Allmendinger. They can see those steps to getting to the big time.
There's a clearly defined ladder from the Barber Pro Series up into the CART Toyota Atlantic Championship, and then up into the big cars, the Champ cars, the CART FedEx Championship Series.
Can Davy Cook? Brewers locks it up into Big Bend. Can Davy Cook do anything about Sperafico? We ride with Brewers again. He can't do anything about Allmendinger at the moment, but there's still time left. Allmendinger, Brewers, Sperafico, top 3. You're watching the second round of the Barber Pro Series from Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. 7 rookies in this field today, and one of them is leading, AJ Allmendinger. These guys are the chasers. Further back, Aurelio Lopez Jr. putting the pressure on Tom Fogarty.
Lopez, you can see there, the green front on the car, but not all the nose cone is there. He's had an incident earlier in this race. It's certainly going to slow him down, particularly through there, through the S's. But he is able to maintain that pressure on John Vanini.
Aurelio had an incident on the parade lap and was able to start in his original position, but chose to go to the back of the field and is fighting his way up.
I think he just wanted to check out how that car was handling without that nose section on the car. He's still got the front wings there, which provide the downforce onto the front of the car. But I think he knew there was some damage, and he wanted to take it a little bit easy at the beginning, just to make sure he didn't make another mistake to compound that error he made on the parade lap. Yellow flag.
Oh, Davy Cook gathered it all up after losing traction, went sideways. Now there's a yellow flag out. There's a car off there. That's Leonardo Meyer.
Wow, he's spun there at the exit of the chicane. He's getting back on track, but he's lost a lot of ground. Leonardo Meyer was in 8th place before that mistake.
Back up front. It was only a local yellow. We rejoin Davy Cook, and locking it up is Rafael Sperafico. Cook comes up the inside, side by side with the young Brazilian now. Here we go. Can Cook come through? Oh, they almost touch wheels. Cook goes around the outside. Sperafico comes back, pushes him a little wide. Davy's looking for a way through. Look how close this is. Now Davy Cook finally gets through, and Rafael Sperafico says thank you very much. And here's Rossoni. How close do you like it?
Oh, look at that. Rossoni just pushed Cook onto the grass there. Well, I'm surprised he's going to get away with that. That's pretty marginal driving, I think, from Nilton Rossoni. A lot of experience for this guy. He made the pass. I don't think he really needed to push Davy Cook onto the grass, and he's done a super job, has Davy Cook, maintaining control of that car. With the dirt on the tires, he's certainly going to lose a little bit of grip for several corners, and he's now trying as hard as he can just to keep Sperafico behind him. So Sperafico, the big loser there, lost 2 positions. Rossoni, he gained 2.
Wow, some pretty impressive driving from these young guys, especially these 2 guys in the red cars, Davy Cook and Rafael Sperafico. That was good side-by-side racing, Jeremy.
That was great racing by those 2. They both gave themselves room through this corner here, the left-hander, the only left-hand corner on this racetrack here at Lime Rock Park, and they did a super job. And then when Rossoni got into the picture, well, I guess forceful would be the way to describe it.
Rossoni, the big winner out of that situation, gain 2.
And already pulling out quite a gap over these 2 as well. And Sperafico, I don't know, he's lost a bit of ground at that time to Davy Cook. Does he have a problem?
I'd just be waiting for his heart rate to get back down. That was pretty tight stuff, but great racing from those 2 guys. Further back in the field, Herman Quiroga here, putting an inside move on Liviano. And here comes AJ Armendinger moving through these guys at the back of the field.
Yeah, in amongst the lap traffic now for AJ Armendinger. You see he's pulled out quite a bit of a gap over Mark Brewers, and I think he might need that gap because negotiating traffic, there is Armendinger. Whoa, on the dirt at the exit of the Essex through No Name Straight. We're coming up to the rising turn now. Here he is. Traffic all around him. He's got to be so careful now. It's not an easy place to pass here at Lime Rock. He's got to pick his points and make clean passes and just make sure. Well, there's somebody else off the road. I think that's Christian Shimjak. Once again, this time at the downhill turn is Christian Shimjak off the road a 2nd time.
Well, after such a promising opening 50% of this race, he's had a tough last few laps. Here's the replay for Shimjak.
Wow, just got it well sideways coming into the diving turn. Kind of maintains control, does a good job there to stop the car from sliding across to the barrier on the inside, just gets on the grass, back on the racetrack. It's all or nothing, it seems, for Christian Shimjak.
Fortunately, he hasn't come in contact with anything or anyone on both of his spins and is able to continue. Likewise, AJ Armendinger continues to make his way through the traffic as he looks in the mirrors, looks ahead. He's got Morgan Davies is the next car to contend with. Life is getting busy for AJ Armendinger. Meanwhile, the wildlife is pretty relaxed up here in the northwest of Connecticut. More after this short break. We continue at Lime Rock Park, round 2 of the Barber Pro Series, and our race leader continues to forge his way through the traffic. Morgan Davies, the next one on his list, and a fairly clean cut and straightforward inside move down into Big Bend.
Here's some battling here. There is Rossoni trying to make a move on Brewers as they go in amongst the lap traffic. Brewers keeps that door absolutely firmly shut. As you said earlier on, Brewers had a lot of experience here at Lime Rock. He knows how to defend that position. But Rossoni, he's been fast here before. He knows how to drive this racetrack as well. A fascinating battle between these two.
Thanks for joining us on Speed for the Barber Pro Series. This is round 2 of 10. And today, the Pro Series is on the Trans Am bill for the remaining 8 rounds of the 2002 championship. These young guys will be joining the Kart FedEx Championship Series, and they're very excited about that. Next stop off for these guys will be California's Laguna Seca Raceway, and that will be one to look forward to.
That battle for second place, and meanwhile here we are now with Julio Campos, who's had a spin. Julio Campos, the young Brazilian, he was running in 6th place and he's had a quick spin there.
Fairly straightforward, wow. Able to keep it together and just away from the tires.
West Bend there, that's an interesting place to spin, but he's kept it off the walls. Did a good job to do that. It's not a lot of room when you spin off at West Bend. It's a pretty quick corner. They're going through there in 4th gear, and amazingly he didn't actually lose any positions at all. That's quite incredible. So once again, Campos, we saw him spin at Sebring, and that was a very quick spin down there. It only cost him a couple of sessions. It did cost him 1 position, but here he is again.
If you've just joined us, this is the 2nd place Mark Brewers in the Sunoco entry, carving his way through the dust and the lap traffic.
And the lap traffic, yeah, he's down to the inside. He's going to be looking in his mirrors here, seeing where Rossoni is behind him, and there he is, absolutely tucked to his rear wing, but no way past for Nilton Rossoni.
How would you like to be Morgan Davies there? You've got 2nd and 3rd ahead, 4th and 5th right on your gearbox. They slip through. Rafael Sperafico and this guy, Davey Cook, and that's allowed them to catch up a little bit on Rossoni. They get through those guys further back in the field. That looked like Chris Baker there.
Yeah, they're having a great little battle of their own, aren't they?
Continuing on in this 40-minute event, Brewers still maintains that 2nd position. And if he can stay right where he is, 2 points finishes for the first 2 rounds of the season. Likewise, Davey Cook, and of course, Armendinger up front, going for maximum points.
Armendinger really pulling away at this stage. You can't even see him in the picture. Look at this, Rossoni, a late move to the inside. No, Brewers cuts it off once again. A great battle here. And now Sperafico and Cook are right with these pairs. So there we are, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, absolutely tied together.
Rossoni, who knows what it's all about to win the Barber Pro Championship. He did it back in 2000. Had a strong start to the season opening race in Sebring, with a solid 4th after he and the Michelin entry of Julio Campos battled all race long. Here he is again, fighting for a podium spot. Oh, Davey Cook, sideways.
Absolutely on the limit there is Davey Cook. He came agonizingly close last year to winning the Rookie of the Year points chase. Just lost it out literally in the last couple of corners of the final race. That would have given him a free season of racing this year in the Barber Pro Series. He didn't win that prize. Rafael Sperafico did, and now Cook, he's managed to regroup, find the funding for this year, and doing a great job. So is this young man, Mark Brewers. He's found the money from Sunoco, a loyal supporter. He looks after his sponsors so well. He works so hard to keep and maintain that relationship, and this is why he's now running in 2nd place.
Rossoni not giving up, but he's now got a mirror full of Sperafico, and look at this, Brewers trying to get past the traffic.
Slower traffic there, costs a lot of momentum. Look at this, Sperafico inside Rossoni as they go downhill, the diving turn. Wow, a really tough pass there by Sperafico, but it cost him some momentum. Here's Rossoni now, he gets a run on the outside. Rossoni on the outside, Sperafico on the inside.
Whoa, moves across to close the door. Rafa says no way. He comes through on the inside, and Davey Cook wants to get in the action as well. Well, this is payback from before for Rossoni. Cook wants to get even, and now is within striking distance. Fabulous action. And what about the forceful driving from Rafael Sperafico?
Great stuff there, and it's Mike Richardson, the lapped car, right in with that group as well. But he's looking good with these guys.
On board with the race leader, and there is no one in sight. More of the Pro Series on Speed. Stay with us. Into the latter half of the second round of the Barber Pro Series, and the action of late has been spectacular, mainly because of these three guys, Sperafico, Rossoni and Davey Cook. They're in amongst traffic, they're in amongst some guys at the back of the field. Mark Richardson, the green and yellow car, right in front of this trio. He's right in the thick of it. Sperafico now moves inside of Richardson, and Rossoni trying to do the same. This has been great wheel-to-wheel action from this trio.
Tremendous stuff there. Look at Rossoni seems to be very quick on the straight. He gets very close to Sperafico. Sperafico doing a very good job. This is his second year in these cars, and here we see Davey Cook diving to the inside of Mark Richardson at the left-hander.
And Herman Quiroga and Richardson, they're having their own little fight, aren't they? The back of the pack, look at Herman, all over Mark. As that trio fighting for that final podium position can get on with their own private battle. And Davey Cook, look at this, nice work through the chicane and comes right up on Milton Rossoni.
Had to lift off a little bit there going into West Bend. It cost him a little bit of momentum. Whoa, look at this. Mike Richardson just straight a wheel off on the left-hand side as you turn into the diving turn. There's Herman Quiroga off the road.
And Chris Baker comes in contact with Mike Richardson.
Don't know where Baker was involved in there. He was a little bit behind those other two, but it was Richardson who lost control first of all, and that left Herman Quiroga with absolutely nowhere to go. Look at this. Look at Richardson. He strays that left rear wheel onto the dirt, turning into that very fast corner. He loses control. Nowhere to go for Quiroga.
And here comes Chris Baker. Crunch slams the front of Mike Richardson's car. Fortunately carries on. There's plenty of runoff there, and the tyre barrier arresting that speed. It's a full course caution. And let's have a look from a different angle.
You saw that battle there in the front of them, but these two guys tangled up behind there. On the right-hand side there is Quiroga, and there comes Baker into the incident as well.
And fortunately, Mike is all right. Mike Richardson steps from his car and walks to safety. Chris Baker already up on the tyre wall.
He's doing a pretty good job, Mike Richardson. They're running there in 17th place. A good strong run by the Canadian driver. Doesn't have a lot of experience, certainly not in these cars, but that's a disappointing end to his race.
And that's the stage where both guys are very frustrated, but they both say, "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay, but didn't really want to finish my race here." So the pace car out, and AJ Allmendinger's lead suddenly evaporates, and Mark Brewers gets a good close look at him.
Time is running out too. We've only got about 6 or 7 minutes to go in this race. So all of a sudden, Allmendinger was looking pretty cool and calm and collected at the front of the field. There's Chris Baker. They're commiserating with Mike Richardson. Those two out of their cars. They're perfectly okay. But now, certainly, Allmendinger is really going to have a battle on his hands once we go back to green to the end of the race.
Safety team with some work to do, but here is your race leader. The guy that, although it's very young, the season is very young, he has been very dominant. He was pushed and challenged, and he had to challenge Davey Cook at Sebring, but today at Lime Rock, it's been all AJ Allmendinger. We ride with the second placed Mark Brewers. Now this is his opportunity to really throw the challenge out to Allmendinger. If he's going to take this race win today, it has to be in this next break, because it will be to the checker. We're under caution here at Lime Rock. The top three remain the same. Armendinger, Brewers, Sperafico. Back soon. Still under caution here at Lime Rock Park for the second round of the Barber Pro Series. The damage and the damaged cars are being cleaned up. That's Chris Baker's machine being towed away. The field still behind the pace car, gathering themselves up, gathering their thoughts, taking a breath, and getting ready for this one last charge, Jeremy Shaw.
Corner crew's doing a good job to get those cars out of the way. We're inside 5 minutes to go. I think they're going to be able to get those cars out into a safe location and be able to finish this race under green flag conditions.
Been a fairly eventful race throughout the field for the minor positions, but up front it's been dominated by one man. As we take a look there at Josh Rem, has that smoking the rear stop? No, it's still, there's a trace of it there. That continues. But we get back to talking about the 20-year-old Californian that has dominated this race so far, and you take a look at him right there. Car 29, Paul Tracy's protege, AJ Armendinger. From pole to leading, and he's not far away from victory. He got off to a fantastic start, and let's take a look at the replay. This is the onboard with AJ.
At the very start of the race, and look at that, how close Sperafico was, but Armendinger jumps on the throttle, gets a good jump there. You can just see the rear wheel of Mark Brewers alongside. A great start by AJ Armendinger. He said at the top of the show what he wanted to do was make a good clean start, lead in the first corner. That's exactly what he did. Whoa, not quite sure what gear he should be in there, coming through Big Bend, but he does maintain that advantage, and it's Mark Brewers who has to tuck into second place.
AJ was able to get the jump and now settles himself down. A quick look in the mirrors. He knows Brewers isn't immediately behind him. Let's enjoy this opening lap on board with AJ Armendinger.
Once again, this is the very first lap of the race, so a pretty big lift off the throttle going into the diving turn. That was because the tyres weren't fully up to temperature. Soon after that, though, as soon as they really get into the meat of the race, then it's flat out through that turn.
One thing starting from pole, but another thing making the most of it, and that young man certainly did. Pace car, the lights are off on the pace car as these guys build up. Get ready. Get set. We are about to go. There's Doug Hill. Does he wave green? And we get back underway with this final segment of the race. We certainly do. Armendinger, Brewers, and Sperafico, the top three, into Big Bend.
No change at the front there. Just a couple of minutes to go in this race. Probably just time for 2 more laps. This 40-minute timed race.
Armendinger, can he hang on? Davy Cook's gone.
Wow. He didn't lose any momentum at all. Lucky there's that huge, thick grass down there. I don't know, it looks like some sort of a problem. He went so fast into there, he didn't look like he locked up the brakes. I think there must have been some other kind of a problem. Let's go on board with Davy Cook. Well, you can hear exactly what that is. He can't slow that car down. It sounds like the throttle stuck open. Did a great job of downshifting there, trying to scrub off the speed. On the grass, it's awfully difficult, but the safety facilities here at Lime Rock enabled Davy Cook to get that car slowed down. No more major damage, but what a heartbreaker for Davy Cook. He's been running such a great race.
He was right here in this battle for the top 5. Davy Cook has now been denied a solid points finish. Meanwhile, Nilton Rossoni isn't done with working over Rafael Sperafico. That final podium spot has not been consolidated yet.
Each of the two races we've had this season, we had two Americans out front, and then a battle of the Brazilians for third and fourth. This time, it is Sperafico with Rossoni hard on his tail, just looking for any opportunity to get away past and grab that final podium position.
Armendinger has pulled out. Good regroup and refocus from Leonardo Meyer, who has gathered things all back up again.
He is, however, a lap down, so he's not in contention for a top 5 finish this afternoon. He is running well, and he's another sort of Brazilian-American. He was brought up in Brazil, now lives in Oakland, California. There is the white flag, just 1 lap to go for AJ Allmendinger, looking at win number 2.
Further back in the field, you can see there the yellow car of Julio Campos, who's just ahead of Dan DeLeo. That's positions 5 and 6. So we're on our way home here at Lime Rock.
Less than a mile to go, and AJ Allmendinger, foot perfect at the restart. He's already pulled out a little bit of a gap over Brewers. There is Rafael Sperafico in 3rd place.
And what a turnaround for Sperafico in contrast to the troubles he had at Sebring. He's had a good, hard, solid run here. He's had to work hard. He's had to fight hard for it. Meanwhile, Armendinger comes out of the chicane. He is on his way home. Can you believe the start this young man has had? Well on the way to a Rookie of the Year title. The checkered flag comes out. 2 pole positions, 2 victories for California's AJ Allmendinger. He's done it again and done it in style. Well done, AJ. Mark Brewer's a very solid second, and Rafael Sperafico picks up that final podium spot. Boy, he had to work hard for that, Jeremy.
He certainly did. Some great racing there, a flawless ride this time from AJ Allmendinger, and some fantastic racing in his mirrors.
There he is, good stuff. I'm sure he can't believe it. We'll be back after this break to wrap things up from Lime Rock. Jim Pace tells AJ he's the man, and he certainly is. 2 starts, 2 wins. It does not get any better than that.
Woo! Podium finish. We'll take it. Good start for the season. Thank you.
Great start for the season for Mark Brewers.
Thanks.
And Allmendinger.
I never thought I'd start the season off 2 in a row. I mean, 1 was great, but 2 in a row, it's awesome. The Dodge Reynard the car was great the whole time. We got about halfway through the race. I'm like, okay, 15 minutes left. And then I couldn't believe it was 7 minutes left for yellow to come out. But I knew my car was good. I was able to pull away from 1 time. I knew I could do it the second. It was just key to get a good restart so they didn't get a draft off me and get under me into turn 1.
So you've run 5 Barber Dodge races. You have 2 victories in a row. On to Laguna Seca, your feelings about leading this championship against this top field that we have this year.
Oh, it's just amazing. I mean, everybody involved. Mark finished second, Rafael third, just everybody that I race against. You never know. And fortunately for myself, I've hit the setup twice now.
Rick Radajak with our winner of both rounds, AJ Allmendinger. And Jeremy, those the top 2 were pretty much consolidated right from the start, but the battle was really on for that final podium spot.
Yeah, all the battles all the way down the field. Their career best so far for Dan DeLeo. Farther down the order, Tom Foger. Leonardo Meyer gets the final championship point in 15th.
We look at the results a little further back, but a very happy driver picking up a podium position in second, Mark Brewers. Let's hear from him.
I had a really good run today. Josh Brown gave me a great car. This is my home track. I've had a lot of success here, and it was good to start off the season here with a podium finish, second place. I'd like to thank everybody from Sunoco. There are a lot of fans up in the hills here. This is definitely Sunoco territory. and the Sunoco Special did great today.
When that yellow came out, you had to be feeling, I have another shot.
I did, absolutely. I mean, I had made a mistake. AJ got away a little bit, and it really gave me a chance to get up close. He did a great job on the restart, and more than anything, I was really trying to protect my position for second place for the last 2-3 lap shootout.
And that second place has helped secure Brewers fourth in the championship standings behind Armendinger, Campos and Rossoni.
Davey Cook is in 6th. He was looking at a much better result, but that stuck throttle put him out of the action. Christian Shimjak and Memo Rojas rounding out the top 10.
Plenty of action in the second round of the Barber Pro Series for 2002. Mark Brewers really chased hard after AJ Armendinger. Josh Rem got into the action nice and early, and Memo Rojas did a good job of avoiding some sticky situations. AJ Armendinger wasn't always on the black stuff, but he did a very good job to take the win. We look forward to the next round. It's at Armendinger's home track at Laguna Seca in California. Some anxious moments for Davey Cook and Mike Richardson. Davey got out of this one okay. Stay tuned to all the action on speedtv.com. On behalf of Jeremy Shaw, I'm Lee Diffie. See you next time.